What's up, everybody? Hopefully you guys can hear me. I've got a different setup today, and we're going to be going and looking at coins and specifically talking about stacking. So if you guys could put in the chat a number 1 to let me know you can hear me okay, that would be great. Okay, that's not a 1. All right, that's good. Okay. Welcome, everybody. We got a few things to talk about today. And we've also got a GAW, so stay around until the end for the GAW. And if we can get the channel to breach or just say hit 12,000 subscribers by the end of this live stream, I will do a super epic giveaway that you guys will really like. So let's get started. Let's talk about it. I put a video out just recently about the 10 different ways to stack. Let me see if I can pull that up for you guys real quick. I want to show that to you. In the meantime, you can stare at this really cool silver bar. All right, let me get this real quick. So I want to show you guys that video. And hopefully it will not play here. All right. So we're going to do this so you guys can actually see my stuff. We're going to share the screen here. Excuse me. All right. So here's what we're going to do. And real quick, I'm going to show you guys just a couple things here that I wanted to point out to you. Goodness, crowns, tiger. And we'll do a shout out to everybody in just a second here. So a couple things I wanted to point out we're going to talk about today. Okay. So I want to clarify a few things from you guys as well. So this video here, stop stacking the wrong way. I think it's important. We're going to talk about a couple of the ways to stack today. I'll be making videos about this specifically on each of the different ways to stack. And someone corrected me and said that you really should not include mining stocks in part of your stack. They want to keep it all physical, so we can do that. And we'll add that on as a bonus. So I'm going to get rid of the number 10 being mining stocks, and we're going to talk about ancient coins. So I'll do a video on that too. So that's going to be this video here. If you guys haven't seen it, I think it's a good video. It actually took about 5 hours to edit this thing. So sometimes the videos you edit the most and you spend the most time on don't get as many views, but that's okay. That's how it goes sometimes. But it's a great video. Check that one out. Don't Panic is also a really good video. This one's really talking about panic stacking. Okay, we're going to talk about that a little bit today too. And then this one here it had a promotion in it for a mining company that I think is worth looking at if you guys haven't done so already. But it also is front loaded with some really good information about where gold and silver are going, this big tsunami that's coming in. And I will probably do a separate video just on that here in the near future for you guys as well. And then, looking at just what's on the screen here, my secrets revealed. This is talking about my new mentor program. I've got a couple people that have started into that. And it's good. You guys can follow my mining stock picks. You can follow what I'm buying when I'm buying gold and silver. And I'm sharing that information with people to give you guys, the people that join that, better insight into the mind of surfer and some of the things I've learned. Now, I had one comment from a guy on Stop Stacking the Wrong Way that said, "Why am I an expert? I'm not an expert. What am I talking about?" I encouraged him to start a YouTube channel, by the way. So we'll see if he does. But I don't claim to be an expert, guys. Everybody you see on YouTube, okay, short of someone that maybe owns a bullion company like Andy, okay, or Mike Maloney that also has a bullion company that does gold. I think his channel is gold silver. Um, Short of those people, none of us, this is like our main profession we've been working on for years and years. We're all amateurs. Okay, we are stackers making videos for you guys for a couple of reasons. One, we want to build a community. We're having a lot of fun with it. Two, we also want to start to um, teach a little bit and share things. Okay, so I'm going to show you coins that I wish I did not buy. Okay, and I paid a fair amount of money for them, and they have not changed in price, even though silver has gone up from, the, let's say, mid $20 range to the high $20 range. These have not moved up at all. And I want to caution you guys on that too. I'm also going to show you a little bit about some gold I've sold and the importance of um, understanding what kind of gold you have, and will it appreciate, or will it just kind of have what kind of gold to stack, basically. Some of these pieces of gold that you can stack are going to be ones that um, it will go up in value. They'll keep going up in value. They'll stay ahead of everything. Okay, so I'm going to show you some of that, and then we're going to talk a bit about the ones that aren't going to do that and where you could fall into some issues. Okay, I love this video here with Kevin over from um, Bad Land Charts, and you can find him on X. This guy knows his charts. Okay, now charts are not prophecies, guys. Don't get those two things confused. Okay, charts are there to kind of give you that road map. So if I'm heading from Southern California to Las Vegas, it's there to give you that idea of where we're going and what's happening. All right, I'm going to go back to this like this so you guys can also see, because I'm going to put out some silver we're going to talk about here. I know you guys have ADHD and need to see silver, and you need to hear it. So we're going to talk about all this silver that I'm getting out here today. But I do want to show you a couple more things. So he has the great price prediction on where gold and silver could be going. And that's the key. It's not about where it is going to go, because you don't know that. It's more or less around where could it go. And so I think that is a very important thing to understand. And there's some differences there as well. So these coins over here, we're going to talk about. Some of these I wish I didn't have. We're going to talk about this big old bar too. Is that good to stack or not? Okay, we're going to talk about that. And then this is another one of the videos with my mentor launching off program. So one thing I just want to tell you guys with that's important to know right now is I've got a sell on it that is in effect, I believe, until the end of tomorrow. I think it goes until the end of Saturday. And it's 30% off. You can see the link down below. I'm actually going to do this. I was trying to get a little fancy with some banners. So there's the banner right there, guys. If you go to the link down below, it'll actually take you to the site. It'll be a lot easier to find it. And then you put in Surfer 30, you're going to get a 30% discount. Okay, look, this isn't a service for me to go make a ton of money and become filthy rich. That's not what this is. It's a service for you guys to learn more about silver stacking, physical, as well as mining stocks. I will be showing and sharing what I have in crypto. I'll be sharing more about what I have in other stocks as well. As I make some purchases, they don't let you show what your portfolio is today. I kind of put screenshots up, but what they do is they give you the ability to make a trade and put that out. Okay. So just another reminder for all of you guys, hit that subscribe and that bell icon and hit the thumbs up. I'm not kidding. If we can get to 12,000 subscribers before the end of the stream, I will give out at least an ounce, maybe 2 ounces of silver with some fun coins. Okay, we're not talking silver eagles. We're talking stuff worth more than that. I would just really like to end the month with 12,000 subs. Okay. So with that said, the last thing I'm going to tell you guys, and then we'll come back in at the end. I love having Andy on. His company does a great job. If you're looking to buy gold and silver, I would at least reach out to Andy. You can email him info@milesfranklin.com. And in the subject, you can put stacking surfer sent me. You can put looking to buy gold and silver. When you get down into the body of it, please let them know that I sent you stacking surfer. There's a small referral fee. Also not going to make me rich, but it is something that allows me to keep the channel going. I'm looking to get better equipment. I'm looking to set up a better studio in my house. And I'm looking to do a lot more stuff on the street where we go to the beach, we go to the piers, we go to the malls, and we give silver out or we give Klondike bars out. All of this stuff costs money and it's fun to do. And any little bit you guys can do to help the channel is always much welcomed and is well received. So why would I say Miles Franklin? Well, there's a couple reasons. I've actually bought from, I think, 5 different online bullion dealers. Miles Franklin's the only one that you actually get a person to help you. Okay. Now, yes, you can call the other guys and you can ask for some help, but it's not going to be the same person every time. It's not going to be white glove service, and it's not going to be someone that has most likely a master's degree in MBA, which is a lot of the people that Andy has hired. Okay. So we're going to keep putting some more silver out here, but take a look at that. Okay, guys. This, let's see, I got to go back to this other screen here. Okay, this one here where it says you can own a piece of history. It's not for everybody. It's kind of cool. What it is you've got the gentleman, Don Kagan, that has brought us the Spanish gold coins, okay, to the United States. And he has taken this note, which is really a prototype. So it's only on one side of it is it printed. The other side is printed. I think prototype is what he said. And there's a little stack of peace dollars, guys. We're going to talk about those too. So he's taken that note and he's basically put it onto the blockchain using NFT technology. So it's on the blockchain. You basically have the ability to fractionalize or buy a portion of it. So for about, I think it's probably up to $1,200 now. You can buy a portion of that $100 or $100,000 bill. And you have the ability, if you go down to the fund show where it's going to be, you can get a picture taken with it. Now, you are owning a piece of history. Yes, I know who's on it. And yes, he's a turd bomb. Brought us the Fed and IRS and all this other junk. But it's still history. It's still American history, okay? Now, when you look at this idea here, what you get for your money is you get a piece of the note. When that note gets sold, which is the idea is to sell that over time, you will get your money back based on how much it sells for. So it's an investment. You might lose money on it. You might make a bunch of money on it. It's up to you to make a determination of if you want to do that. You'll also get an NFT, which will allow you to see a virtual version of it or picture of it. And then it also gives you the ability to come in and transfer that and show that you have ownership. So it's kind of like having a virtual title, so to speak. In addition to that, they're going to be putting a version of this, a replica of this, into plexiglass. So let me show you what that might look like, because I haven't seen it exactly. But I do have a US $1 silver certificate, and I'm going to get to your guys' questions, put them in bold, and we're going to have some fun. And please bear with me on my setup because it's not great. And I might hit my knees on things here and there. And I'm getting ready to go to Vegas for a big, huge conference for my job, my day job. And it's just been a little crazy. So if you can see this here, right? We'll change the screen a little bit to go. Well, that's kind of what I was thinking for a minute. You can see this plexiglass thing, right? So it's going to be something kind of like that, where you've got that dollar there. And that's one I found in my grandma's house when I was about 6. No, maybe 8. It was about 8. And it was all wadded up into quarters and like folded in quarters. And I don't know why I was in her jewelry box, but I was. And I found that, and she let me keep it, and I thought it was really cool. And it said silver certificate on it, so I thought it was worth like $1 million as a little kid. Anyway, that's kind of fun. So you've got that. All right, we'll do this here. I think that's a little better view. So going back to this, it's a cool video. It's a cool concept. Is it the future? Is it where we're going with a lot of stuff? Possibly. Will they do it to gold coins? They actually might. So I think tokenization is coming, whether you like it or not. It's going to hit real estate. It's going to hit coins and collectibles. It's also going to hit cars. And the positive about it is it's going to allow you to do creative financing outside of what a normal bank does by allowing you to basically have everybody in the world own a little piece of your house, for example. Okay. Now, it may come out different. It may work differently with the banks that set it up. The danger of it is, I think you're going to be able to finance the heck out of everything you own. And at the end of the day, this is probably the great taking, and how you're going to lose everything is, let's just fractionalize it. Let's put everything up as collateral, and then let's reg pull the crypto and the NFTs, sorry, and really be able to get it to the point where you just get wiped out. Okay, so that could happen. But in the meantime, I think it's fun. Okay, prediction. This is my prediction for the year, and I will give you a little hint on it. I think we could see 4,000 gold this year. I think we could see $40 silver. I think it's very possible. Will it happen? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. We've got some other cool videos I just want to point out to you guys. This is really just kind of, I don't worry about this video. It's just a recap of things that we were going to talk about here. And I was able to get him back on, so we did that. Bank. Get your cash out of the bank, guys. I'm not kidding. This is hugely important. Bank holidays usually come on 3-day holiday weekends, like we just had with Memorial Day. I'm not telling you that something's going to happen like that, but if we do have a gold confiscation, if we do have bank cyber attacks, if we do have no liquidity and the banks have to shut down to kind of hide things and mask it, it usually is going to happen on a 3-day weekend. So that's just something to be aware of. But get your cash out, put it into gold. Not financial advice. I can't tell you to do that, even though I just said it. Okay, but it's not financial advice. I can't tell you to go do that, but I can say that I highly recommend considering it, doing some research, deciding what you want to do there. Now, I wouldn't be putting a bunch of cash in your house, gold or silver, unless you have a really good safe. I have an awesome safe video. That thing is really old, but you guys need to go watch that. Okay, here's my most watched video, 38 times my normal videos, guys. So I do want to point that out. Go check this one out with Andy. It was once in a lifetime, talking about swapping your gold to silver and what can happen with it. It's an awesome, awesome video. If you haven't watched that, you need to go see it. These two videos are killer. Guys, I'm not kidding. I had the chance to interview Sean, who was on Pawn Stars many, many times as a coin expert when they get into ancient coins. And he's also the dude that basically has massive artifacts from, I don't know, I guess you would call it the pirate era. And he supplies the replicas and basically the, I don't know, equipment for Pirates of the Caribbean when they do those movies. Okay. Due to Disney, we really couldn't show that. But these two videos, I'm not even kidding. The fact that these videos aren't like 100,000 view videos makes me cry. It's very sad. These videos should be huge. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get with him again. I'm not even sure if I still have the raw footage for these. I need to go look and see if I do. But if I do, I will probably recreate some of these videos this year, or just, I might even repost them, because this is just lame. Like every year I might put these out as the channel grows and YouTube decides whether they're going to block me or show me. Awesome videos. These shipwreck silver videos are really good. It's more set up. I had professional editors do it. It basically cost me $500 to put these two videos together. Go watch it. It's fun. All right. Tangible investments, Mike here. We're going to be doing a lot of videos with these guys pretty soon here. I have filmed a handful of them. I just have had so much action this week. I have not um, been able to edit his stuff quite yet, but we're going to be talking to his boss here soon, who happens to be the co-founder of PCGS. All right, that's kind of a cool shot right there. So that's really the some really important videos you guys probably haven't seen. Drew Brophy, he designed this silver surfboard based on his skateboard here and his surfboard. It's actually a surfboard design. Go check his stuff out too. It's sad when you put a lot of work into videos and they're older, so no one sees them and YouTube doesn't promote them. This was a great video. You're not going to get a chance to hear his story very often. Pre-33 gold, good video there too. Ancient coins is pretty cool as well. And then, when you get into the playlist, I'll show you in a minute, but you can see me asking people on the beach. We're going to do a ton of these this summer if I am able to do it. And they're really fun. Goldbacks. I also have my university stuff, so you'll see that in the playlist. I'll show you that in just a second. I know you guys are probably bored to death. You want to see more of the silver and talk about this stuff. And we are going to do that. Oh, and I got gold too. So let me show you that real quick. So I got a handful of gold coins that I'm pulling out that I'm going to show you guys as well. And then another thing we're going to do today too to look at is this. This is just a hint. The coins are underneath the hay. All right. This is an epic piece that we're going to talk about as well. So I'll put that over there to the side. You can kind of see that. And then I got a new giveaway bag just full of stuff. So we might explore that and see what you guys think would be fun to do as future giveaways. All right, goldbacks real quick. I think goldbacks are pretty cool from a standpoint of having some collectibles. I don't know how successful the company is going to be. I don't know if they're going to be around for years and years. I do think there is collectability to those goldbacks. I also think they're really good for tipping when you're in a state that doesn't use them. And when you are in a state that uses them, if you get a spreadsheet out and you do the math right, you can save money buying goldbacks and using them versus dollars. And some of the ways that you can do that, to be honest with you guys, is by buying them today and having the price of gold continue to go up. Okay, so that right there, your dollar is not going up. It's going to go down. So just by buying them and holding them, it's going to go up. If you happen to live in a state that uses them, it's like a guaranteed savings accounts as long as we're in a gold bull run, and the price is going up. The other thing I've noticed with goldbacks is because the goldback company backs up the price that's on their app. Maybe I'll show that to you guys later if you want me to. But you can go to the Goldback website and you basically will see the exchange rate. That's what they put it up at. If you can find these at a coin show or at a garage sale or a pawn store where they're selling them for less than the exchange rate, you've already made money on them. So stop getting hung up on the premiums on this stuff. Okay. No one's telling you to go out and buy that instead of buying, pre-33 gold or Krugerrands or anything like that. Okay. No one's telling you to go do that. And, be smart about it. But that's a good video. You can watch me burning them here, which was kind of fun. There's gold there, 24 karat gold. And then you can see me using them at Ace Hardware and Lowe's. And I got to tell you, these 3 videos right here are my most referred to videos. I don't know if Goldback likes them or not. I kind of got a little banned from some of the insider meetings for a while because I mentioned some things that maybe they didn't like too much. And my channel's not big enough. I've got to basically get my channel to be 5x the size it is in order for them to be excited to work with me, which is sad because my videos still typically get more views than a lot of the channels that are substantially larger. And that's not me bragging. I'm just saying that I try to do fun things. Okay, I try to make it interesting. I'm still trying to figure out thumbnails, guys. Some of these thumbnails are actually probably better than my more recent ones. But I'm just taking you back in history. There's the surfboard. You can see it right there. Oh, and if you guys on my beginning, when you see that Queen's Base coin, the first gold coin right there that comes up, we are going to talk about that a little bit. Fake silver. Okay, here we go. Save your silver. and gold, and you need to watch this. Okay, this should have like 50,000 views on it. Yankee made a video about a month later after this, and he was a cool guy. He asked if I cared if he made it, and I thought, Yankee, is it not basically like one-on-one stacking that you need to have a safe? And he's like, yeah, okay, pretty much. I don't care. I don't care if anybody copies any of these ideas. Okay, this is not like about trying to own something and have a category or whatever else. No, this is about helping you guys. It's about giving back to the community. I started this channel because I felt inspired by God, the Holy Spirit, to do this. Now, some of you aren't religious. You might not like that statement. That's okay. It doesn't matter. I don't go overly over the top Christianity on my channel, but I will tell you guys that I do feel inspired to do certain things. Starting this channel was something that took me over a year to make a decision on. Did not want to do it. I was hiding everything in trusts, and I didn't want to show my face or do anything. And then I felt very inspired to start to put a channel together to teach you guys not to buy this stuff, not to buy this stuff. Very careful with bars. Okay. Buy Eagles, buy Peace Dollars, buy Morgans if you can get them at the right price. Buy as many dimes as you can ever find and get your hands on. Pre-33 is good. Krugerrands are good. Okay. But I always have a plan with these guys, and there's a reason I'm buying them. Paper notes like this for fun. Okay. Collection. Do not stack. These coins over here that we're going to see in a minute, only buy this stuff if you have a bunch of extra money and you're going to go blow it doing something else anyway. So if you're going to go buy a lightsaber at Disneyland for $200, you can buy, this kind of stuff if you have the extra money. It's not stacking. Okay. But you need a good safe. If you're stacking right and you're able to continue to save over your years, and you're playing some of the games I'm going to talk about today with stacking as well, you should outgrow your safe, okay, that you currently have. So when you go to buy a new safe, it's really important to buy it much bigger than you think you're going to. And you want to get something heavy enough that 4 guys cannot walk out the room with, okay, or at least 2. So you're talking over 1,000 pounds, which isn't going to be something you get on Amazon. And then you also, if you live in a fire hazard area like I do, you want to get a safe that has a fire rating to it. And then at the end of the day, it has to have a safety rating to it, or it's just a gun safe. It's just a safe for documents and for, family movies and, maybe a little bit of jewelry. If you're going to be putting anywhere near 50,000 to 100,000 to 200,000 to 300,000, $500,000, $1 million or more at your home, you can insure it. I don't really recommend doing that. I'd probably vault a good chunk of it. But if you have that kind of money and you haven't gone and spent, $5,000 to $10,000 on a safe, you're doing it all wrong. Go watch this video. This is going to teach you how to do it. And maybe we'll go back out there and do another one. And then you can see I kind of came up with this idea based on where it says stacking surfer on the side. And I had too many other stacking channels tell me that didn't look good and they didn't like it. But I thought it was kind of fun to brand it, make it easy for everybody to find my stuff. And I kind of used a little bit more of a whimsical, fun font here, but whatever. And I'm ranting, guys, but we are going to get to silver. We are going to do giveaways. We're going to have fun time today. And I'll just give you a hint. I'm still in my PJs. It's been one of those days. I was up until 3 this morning trying to figure out how to build the right calculator to know if I'm charging the right amount of money to sponsors for videos. And why is that important? So I can keep all this going. Okay. I'd rather do this than driving around in Ubers or Lyfts and giving people rides. But I live in Southern California, and until I can move, and we're still stuck here for medical and health reasons. I don't know if you guys want me to get into that. I can, but until I can do that, I've got to pull some extra money in to keep this stuff going. Unfortunately, it's not a charity case. It's nothing like that. And when you are a content creator, you do have the ability to share and reach and influence people, and therefore there are companies that do want to and are willing to pay money to have you promote their stuff. Okay, so I was working on that until 3 this morning. I'm still in my PJs now, and I've been working all day. So that's why we're not doing my face today. All right, too much information, I know, guys. these first two videos, if you really want to know why I'm doing this, if you want to see what it's like to see your first video, which is pretty cringy, these are my first two videos here. Okay, this talks about the silver bar I got from my dad, how I kind of got me back into stacking. I did stack when I was a kid, but it was more of just coin collecting than the term stacking. But these are kind of fun. You can see I went probably too heavy on the wave theme. But the idea here, and why did I call myself stacking surfer and all this? I am not a pro surfer. I do like to surf recreationally. It's very fun to do it. I have a lot of health issues, so mostly I'm on longboards. Surfing anywhere from a 2 to about a 4 to 5 foot wave. A lot of you guys that surf are probably surfing bigger waves than that. You like to go in the barrels. I just don't have the stamina, and I would probably drown doing that. So I don't do all of that. I do hope to someday have a video that I can show you guys for surfing, but um, when you go out and do something a lot, you don't necessarily go get a video of it. And it's not something I've built my life around. It's something I've started doing 7 years ago. Why is it in the channel then? Well, because I'm from Southern California. I like it. I really love surfing. And I want to help you guys surf the largest gold and silver wave in the world that's ever come. Okay. And that is going to be, when we talk about this latest video I did too, this gold tsunami. Okay, I hit all that stuff in there. All right, last thing I'm going to show you guys, two last things I'm going to show you on this real quick, playlists. You can always go to playlists here. You can go check them out. There's a lot of videos in these different ones. Okay, these are interviews you can see down here. You might like or may hate this latest interview I did with Andy and Bo Polney, but you shouldn't ignore it. Okay. I had a few people talking about Bo, that his track record's not perfect. Okay, he doesn't claim to have a perfect track record, and sometimes he makes dates, sometimes he misses dates. It's not the dates, it's not necessarily the timing, it's more of like the season. Okay, we're going into spring right now and into summer here, or we're in spring going into summer. If you can understand the seasons that are coming, you can better prepare. If you're stacking this stuff on a regular basis, it doesn't matter as much. Okay, the key is videos like this are to help us understand the reason to do some of this, not to have fear, but why we can get started with it. Okay, so with this Operation Sandman, I don't know if it's going to happen exactly how we describe it. They describe it in the video here, but I can tell you it's already started, whether you want to believe that or not. China's not buying our bonds anymore, and they're selling them. And so they've gone from, like, I think number 2 or 3 down to number 4. That's a big deal. So if you listen to Bo and you listen to Andy, this gets a little bit more into religion and Christianity and some Bible prophecies and stuff like that. Okay, it's up to you guys to determine whether you believe this stuff or not. If you're religious, go pray about it. If you're not religious and it doesn't sound right to you, well then, okay, think about it. Is it a possibility? What's the probability? Do you want to deal with it or not? But it's at least giving you some information that could potentially happen so you can prepare for it. I think it's an awesome interview. I've had lunch with Bo a couple times here in Newport Beach, and he is such an energetic guy and someone that really wants to help. Yes, he makes money off of a newsletter and service that he provides. And yes, Andy is a bullion dealer and makes money by selling bullion. So this is what they talk about. But guys, these are the experts. Okay, you don't go to a crypto dude that's all about Bitcoin to find out about gold and silver. Okay, you also don't go to either of these two guys to find out everything about Bitcoin. Now, Andy has a Bitcoin, and I think Bo has probably some Bitcoin as well as other cryptocurrencies like XRP. And I have XRP and I have some Bitcoin, and those are things to help me grow my stack a little bit. And they're super risky assets, and I only put money in there that I'm willing to have go to zero. But anyway, that's top interviews there. The other one I was just going to show you real quick is the university ones down at the bottom here. So we've got Platinum University right there. We've got my LCS visits, which are actually pretty cool videos with Liberty coins, if you guys have ever seen them or bought from them on eBay. And then you've got my Gold University. Goldbacks is the pretty fun one. And then somewhere in here is the Silver University. I don't know where that is. Oh, right here, down here, Silver University. Okay. So take a look at that stuff. Last thing I just want to show you guys is membership. I do special posts out to people that are members. Okay, this is paid. It's not super expensive, I don't think, in my opinion, but let me see if I can show you guys. Okay, so it kind of lumps it all together. Okay, so there's 3 membership levels, just so you guys are aware of. One is going to, I think it's $3. It gets you the ability to get these cool icons next to your name, and you get some other cool icons in the chat. Actually, there's one for $1 that gets you that. And then there's $3 that gets you a few more things. You guys have to go look it up. I don't have a way of pulling it up here right now. At least I can't remember how to get to it. And then I have one that is doing Zoom calls, and I have one that does one-on-one mentoring. So if you guys want to pick my brain, if you want to have a conversation with me, if you want access to my phone number so we can text, if you're an LCS and you want to know if it's a good deal and get an opinion from a second person that's done a lot of stacking, we can do this. Now, I've only been stacking for about 6 years and heavily for 4 years, but I guarantee you my heavily stacking is probably equivalent to 10 or 20 years of experience with doing this, because I've done a lot of it and I've done it pretty quickly and fast and furious. All right, so we're going to be done with that stuff. Let's get down to the silver now. So I'm going to show you guys this stuff, but let me welcome you, because I've just been rambling forever and you guys have been leaving a bunch of comments. So Rick Roche is in the house. We've got 22 Red Kid in the house as well. So guys, let me know, what do you guys want to hear about with this first? Okay, I want to see your questions in here too. Okay, and I know you guys have ADHD, so we're going to show you this stuff too. So here's a koala. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to show you guys a whole bunch of these things. All right, let's see what else you guys. Tiger's in here. Welcome, Tiger. Jake Brown and John Camper, Will Lauder. What have I missed? Just me ranting. So rigged. We are going to have some cool giveaways, okay? And I don't mean that. My wife would kill me. So Tiger says, is that a rigged silver bar? I don't know. I don't know what a rigged silver bar is, but this one still has the plastic on the top of it. But we are going to talk about that. Let's see, who else we got in here? Lee Little. Sorry about that. I'm still figuring out this streaming software stuff. As a guy that does a lot of tech stuff, I don't know why I'm so challenged with some of these things. Jake's Custom Parts in here. He's a great mod. Thank you. OC Stacker's in here as well. All right, let's see. We've got Richie Crash. Welcome to the chat. So yeah, this isn't going to affect this stuff, guys. Don't worry about tokenization of dimes and things like this. It's not going to affect this. It'll affect rare dates of pre-33. I think you'll start seeing that. So what I mean by that is, say a coin that's worth $100,000 or more could get tokenized. Stuff that's worth less than that, less likely to get tokenized. Now, there may be the ability down the road for us to take our gold into the bank, if you can trust them, and you might be able to basically tokenize that piece of gold and have the ability to borrow up to 50% of it or whatever they allow you to do. And the tokenization may function a little bit more like a debit card, so to speak. And it will do artwork first. I don't ever seek any down to like stuff like dimes and everything. But who knows? Well, that's exciting. CBDCs are lame. I'll tell you the main reason they're lame is I like ice cream, I like hamburgers, and I like other kinds of food, and I like to buy this kind of stuff. And all you need is a bad leader that doesn't like this stuff. And CBDCs are programmable, and they're gonna be able to take you out. Rick, this is true. So it becomes a special bank holiday, and it has happened in the past. Go look it up. It's happened, but it's not an official holiday. Okay. So when they do a 3-day bank holiday, something's really broken. Okay. And that will happen on a Friday after the markets close. That's the theory. Okay, will it happen? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. All right, who else we got in here? All right, we got one species. He does not worry about his safe being broken into. I feel sorry for anyone who attempts to do that. So he must be sitting right next to it with like a AR rifle or something. Maybe it's booby trapped. What I can tell you is where I live, okay, just down the street that way, okay, down that way. We had Chilean cartels for 2 years in a row rob multiple homes. I think they robbed about 10 homes. They took half $1 million worth of this stuff, cash, money, purses, watches from people's homes. Now, I have a minivan in front of my house, which is the best anti-theft protection you can have. No one steals from a person with a minivan. They don't think you have any money. The people down there have homes that are worth about 2 to 3 times what my house is worth, and they're the ones that are going to get robbed. Anyway, they had safes. Their safes all got broken into. I don't think they had TL rated safes though. I think they mainly just had gun safes. So that's really what I'm looking at. Now, for any of you guys kind of concerned about this too, a safe is not not all safes are the same. Okay, so a safe is not a safe is a safe. That makes sense. When you get the safes that are mostly made for documents that like Century safes, those can be opened with magnets in 10 seconds if someone knows what they're doing, and they can drill into them very quickly. You really want to get a safe if you have over, in my opinion, $30,000 of this stuff. You want to get a safe that has like a locking mechanism where if they try to drill into the front panel, it's going to crack glass and lock. Okay, you want to get a safety rated safe. A lot of you don't have that. You just have gun safes. It's okay. It's just not super safe. So if someone comes to your house to do that, you're going to have an issue. Number one rule is don't tell people you have gold and silver. Okay, don't show your face and don't show this. I've broken that. I have to be more cautious. So I have to have beefier stuff, and I have to get the stuff off my property so that if someone puts a gun to my head, maybe I have this much silver in my house, right? And okay, it's not going to kill me if they take this. Actually, if they took all this, isn't going to kill me, but if they took my entire stack, I would be pretty ticked. So I like to vault off site when I can. So this is the key. Exactly, Will. That's exactly what I would say. So we've got that. Now, if any of you guys want to come up today, let me know, and I will share the link, and we'll have you guys come up, because otherwise I'm just going to rant like crazy. All right, Goldbacks issued at $3.10 exchange rate, 2019. Today are worth $6.60. Rick, I think it's actually gone up to $6.80. Last time I looked at the app, I think, but I could be wrong. That might be what SD Bullion and AppMex are selling them at. But gold's gone up, right? So when you're looking at Goldbacks, yes, their premium is 105%, which is huge, but you have to realize it's still 100% pure 24 karat gold. It's going to go up in value with gold. Okay. As long as that company's there, it's going to retain this value because they've turned it into basically a currency that's being used in, I think, 6 states now. So it's going to continue to hold that value. I had someone the other day freaking out on me saying, hey, you buy it for $6.60 and then you can only get rid of it for $4. Don't do that. Like, if you have these in your local coin, you want to get rid of them in your local coin shops, like I'll give you $3 for them. Don't do that. Like, save them up until you're in Nevada or in Utah or in Florida. I think it's South Dakota. I think Wyoming, and then I think it's New Hampshire. Go wait, hold them until you go to one of those states. Contact someone like me. Okay. If I'm going to go, I probably will buy more for GAWS to give out on my channel. And if I can buy them a little bit under 660, I will do that. But I'd give you guys a good price for Goldbacks. So, because I can turn around and use them as giveaways and write off $6.60. So I'd probably take a little bit off of there. But you get your most bang for your buck doing some of that stuff. All right. No religious, but I don't tell people what to believe. I agree, dude. Look, no one should be telling you what to believe. That doesn't make any sense. I do appreciate it though, Rich, or Richie Crash. Thank you. Um, the key here with any of that stuff, religion, atheism, whatever you believe, it's about finding something that helps you center and ground yourself and realize that you are much more than what you maybe believe you are today. You have so much more capacity inside of you. Um, that's the key. And however you find that peace, that inner peace, and that confidence to become more than what you start off as, or what you might perceive you are starting off as, that's the key, guys. That's what you really need to look after. If you have lost hope because you don't think there's a God or anything, that's where you can have a lot of issues. Now, I've also heard there's no atheists in foxholes, so I don't know. I haven't been in the military. You guys have to tell me about that. I agree with this. It's not minimizing. It's not going too over the top for people. Some people are still on a journey. Some people have had issues and they don't feel like, God's been there for them, or they feel like, you know, whatever. There's a lot of different reasons for people. So it's not apologizing for it. It's sharing it at appropriate times, and it's also sharing, you know, how some of those things have kind of, led me down my life. Um, and there's always a separation of things like business. We're talking about money. Someone did create this stuff though. All right, so let's see. That's a good safe. I would say anything over 1,000 pounds is good. 1,800 pounds is a lot better though, if you can get one of those. And you you can you can bolt them into um, tension slabs. I know from experience. You just need people that know what they're doing so they don't bust the springs. Okay, but it can be done. You get an 1,800 pound safe. You bolt that thing to the ground. You fill it up with stuff inside boxes. So here's another hint I'll give you guys about this stuff. If you've got just a bunch of coins like this in a safe, okay, and let's say they can't get the door open, but they can drill a hole in the side of it. It's pretty easy to get your hand into a little hole, and you could pull these coins out with your hand. You just need a small hole. If you have all these in a monster box, even if the monster box isn't full, and the monster box is wrapped, or it's in another cardboard box, they can't pull that out with their hand. It's not going to happen. And so they're going to have to leave that. Maybe they can get a vacuum hose in there and, suck out some times if they're sitting there. But if your stuff is not loose, but it's in tubes like this, they still may be able to get one of those out, but they're not going to get out a monster box. So that's another tip I'd give you guys. Joseph Lopez is in the house. 888 the Great, formerly Nickel Stacking. Nickel, I swear you change your name more times than I change my socks. Yeah, it doesn't take that much coordination if you're on the longboard. The longboard, I can get anybody surfing on a longboard. So all my nieces and nephews come down and I teach them how to surf. It's not too hard to surf a longboard. You can just go straight. What gets harder is when you want to start doing the hanging 10 where your toes are hanging off the end of the board. That takes a little bit more balance to do it. But it's really good exercise because you're in the water, you got to move around a lot. You do sit around quite a bit waiting for waves, and there's a lot of swimming. Uh, Water skiing is pretty cool too. I like that. My only issue is anytime I go water skiing or I go to do wakeboarding, my body feels like I have 10 billion muscles that are sore the next day. So that's not super fun to me. You don't get that with surfing. It's okay. Water's not for everybody. Um, and I gotta say, I don't love freezing water. I wear a wetsuit every time I go surfing out here. So this is interesting. I lived about 15 minutes from the ocean, 20 minutes from the ocean. My parents rarely took me growing up. It wasn't until junior high I had a friend that said, "Hey, let's go bodyboarding, or what you guys would call boogie boarding." And we started doing that in junior high, and then I moved. So I never even saw a real surfboard until I was in my 40s. And then I started kind of figuring out how to do that. And it is fun. It is really fun. So I may be looking to move somewhere else. We're kind of working on that right now. And if it is, it'll be a little bit ways from the beach, probably. I'm not positive yet, but it can't be too far from the ocean because I do like the ocean. I like the beaches. I know, Will, I'm sorry. Hopefully you're still around. I just haven't shown you guys all that stuff, so I wanted to show you that. Okay, so this is very true. So let's start getting into the show real quick here because we're already almost at the hour mark. Um, let me help you guys understand a couple things that I think are important here when you're stacking. Okay. Um, number one is you need to have a reason for it. So, what are you stacking for? Now, I have a couple reasons. One, I stack gold coins like this because I've built a network of people here in Southern California, and I'm able to buy these for 4% below spot. Now, that source is probably drying up here pretty soon, but if I can buy Krugerrands for 4% below spot, I'm going to do that all day long. It's still gold. Okay. Still gold. And this is 1981 and it's in BU shape. Okay. So I'm going to do that. Now, what can I do with this? I can hold on to it. I can sell it. I can trade it. I could trade this for one of these. Okay. And I'm guessing I probably could find a couple people locally here that would do it for um, a complete trade because this only has 96% of its gold. And you're not getting a full ounce. So um, with this, if I trade that for this, to me, it's probably about sixes. You're getting a little bit more gold with this. But this also has that insurance plan of potentially not being confiscated. Okay. And it's old. Um, you can also turn these into buffaloes and eagles. It's going to cost a little bit of money. I've got a guy locally. I think he used to be like $30. He's now $80 to turn this into an eagle. So go do that math. If I can save 4% below spot price and a gold eagle's going for $150 over spot price, and I can trade this for $80, would you do it? Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you would actually do that. Put a 2 if no way, I would just hold on to this guy. I'm not going to go waste another $80. Okay, so this is for my hedge against inflation. It's for my hedge against my real estate in my house, my value in my house going down. Okay, that's what this guy is. These three ladies over here, we've got a 1904, we have a 1900, and we have a 1899. Okay, these are all Liberty double eagles because they're $20 pieces. If these were the $10, they'd be a single eagle. Okay, and the eagle design is really cool on these things. Now, when you see a coin like this that's pretty shiny, this still has its luster. Okay, you can still see the luster there. So most likely this one, and I don't see a ton of abrasions, but I see a little bit. This probably had some light cleaning on all three of these, but there wasn't like massive, scraping going on these things. Okay, the edges are pretty good. So the reeded edges look nice. There's no big dings on any of them. But these are common years, and I've taken these to tangible investments, and they've looked at them and said they're not worth grading. So I don't grade them. I like this gold for my confiscation stack. Like I said, it's not 100% guaranteed, but as it's written right now, this keeps you from having to get confiscated. So what does that mean? Well, if the rules change, or if the rules are the same as last time, and they say you can only hold 5 ounces of this, of regular gold bullion, then I could keep 5 ounces of this, and I can keep as many of these as I want. They don't count for the 5 ounces. Now, some would argue that you've got to have it be graded. It's got to be a rare date. It's got to be something that's worth a lot more than bullion. Who knows? Okay. So it's not a guarantee. So I wouldn't go spend a massive premium for this stuff over these kind of gold coins just because you're worried about confiscation. Okay. That's not the key here. It's fear. Take the fear out. It's old gold. They're not making more of these, and they're really cool coins. That's one of the reasons to do it too. It's more durable, right? So this is even more durable than this guy, but they're pretty close. I do have a lot of gold buffaloes, and the problem with my gold buffaloes is those things have got to stay in a tube because I've dropped one of those. It hit the metal leg of my chair, my work chair, and over to this right side of me here. and it put a big old gash in the side of it. It's so soft, that 24 karat gold. I don't love this color gold. I like the 24 karat gold color a lot better, but these you can play around with and handle and not really worry about messing them up. Now, one thing to remember with metals is any metal that's of the same density and the same carat, let's put it that way, they should not scratch each other. Okay. Now that's theoretical. If they hit hard enough, could scratch each other. Okay. But they should be in pretty good shape going next to each other. All right. It's when you get different densities of metal where you can have an issue. So a coin like this next to Gold Buffalo could mess it up if it's rattling around. All right. So that's or the reason I do those couple stacks there, guys. Let me look at a couple more comments and we'll come back to this in a minute. And you guys will have to tell me if you like the format or not. I mean, I'm just kind of inventing this new live stream right now. And in time, I'm going to get this to be much more streamlined where we'll talk about news. We'll talk about where the gold and silver price is at the moment, where it's going. And then I want to bring another stacker on or another guest in the space to come and talk about their channel and give them a chance to grow their channel a little bit more and to learn from them. Plus, I hate hearing myself talk. All right. Mike Shannon, welcome. I'm a noob. Can't wait till I've been stacking for 6 years. It does take time, but it does go by fast. All right, Rick. Surfer, why stack Morgan Peace dollars? It's almost impossible to get them near spot. Well, there's the key. Buy them under spot. What do you think I paid for those? So let's talk about these guys real quick. So I know there's some people in the community that love graded Morgans, and they will even buy Morgans that are by themselves, and they pay big bucks for them. Don't do that, guys. Like, go buy a Carson City Morgan and put it away. Get it graded. I did that. It's fun. One of those. Okay, maybe two. I bought these for $25 each. I bought these for $25 each from someone local that had a grandmother that just wanted to unload them and get rid of them. Otherwise, I wouldn't have them. So I would not buy these unless you're buying them at, pretty close to melt. Okay, so not spot price, because these are not the same as Silver Eagles. Right, Silver Eagles made out of 3/9 fine silver. These are 90% silver. Okay, and they don't have as much silver in them as these coins. You can feel the difference when you hold them. Okay, this is definitely a much heavier coin. So these ladies here, if you can pick them up for below spot price, I think it's a good buy. Now, you still may want some of these. Now, why would I want this stuff too? Well, there was a silver confiscation, but I'm not worried about them taking the silver, at least not now, unless there's a massive war and we need it for weapons and they just make a big deal about it and everybody feels like they need to do it or they have to come get it to survive. But that's what hiding and losing them in boats and having home protection is for. But I didn't say that. As far as these guys go, you want to look and see the shape that they're in. This one has nice toning to it, and I can tell it has not been cleaned. It's not scratched up in the field, and you have a little bit of junk over here. Okay, you got a little bit of history, on there. Hopefully, that's not some virus that's going to kill everybody down the road. This one is in really, really good shape. I'll work on getting some better cameras, guys, so you can see things better. But this coin is in really good shape. It's just a common date, and it's not in, awesome shape, but it's in good shape. This coin has a little bit more wear to it than the previous one, but it's still in pretty good shape. And it's a 1921. That's when they made a lot of these guys. Same with this one. So 1921 is a great Morgan to get. You're just not gonna, don't pay a lot for them and don't expect you're gonna get a lot for them. But these are more durable than your Silver Eagles. Okay, this could be used as real money in bartering situations. Yes, you can barter with these guys, but people, once they start bartering with these are going to get so messed up and dinged up and gnarly that unless you have it in the capsule going back and forth, people aren't going to be happy over time, and they might even want these kind of coins because they're more durable anyway. I don't buy Eagles for bartering, by the way. We're going to talk about that in a minute. These dollars, Morgan dollars, bartering. Dimes, bartering. Okay. Here's an 1886. That one's pretty cool. So, but you can see the breast feathers are all missing from this one. So, you wouldn't send that in either. There's another 1921, but you're going to see a lot of those. Okay. Breast feathers are there, but who cares? It's, as common as a dime pretty much. Okay. So that's those guys. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I have a bunch of these peace dollars. Now, I made the mistake, but I guess as someone that tries to educate, it's probably the proper way to do it. My intermediary friend that had the friend with all the silver last year, I let him know I want to look through some of the Morgans and see how good they are. And his next question was, what year should I be looking for? And I was like, crap. And he found some rare dates in there. So he was able to pull out the Morgans that were, worth probably more like $45. But that's okay. He pulled the deal together, and I bought these quite a bit under spot. I don't remember exactly, but I want to say spot was like around $28 or so, and I bought these for $25 each. So I thought that was pretty good. Let's get a couple more questions. We're going to come back to this bar and then Silver Eagles, and then I'm going to show you the stuff to not buy. All right. I know Will. I try. We've had Will up here before, and I've had a hard time with his name. Loudner. So I will do my best for that, Will. So what I will tell you is you want two safes in your house. One in your master closet or your main closet, whatever you want to call it. That safe can be a fairly inexpensive, $30 to $50 safe. Bolt that thing down in your closet so it looks legit, and fill it with copper rounds. It'll sound like there's stuff in there. Also, I'm going to be doing a video with John Eric from Gorilla Pro Customs on Wednesday next week on site in Vegas, and I'm going to be picking up a whole bunch of cash from him. He has the best prop cash. Okay, not fake, not counterfeit, prop cash. It looks like the real stuff. And so I'm going to tell you guys, it's pretty cool. You throw a bunch of that in there, okay, and you throw a GPS tracker that's like, somewhere in the box. They may be able to rip the box off. Like, you don't secure it so well that it'd take them forever to get it out. But you want it to look like it's your real safe. Okay, it's a decoy. Your real safe that has all of your stuff in it probably should not be in a gun safe either, where someone might be able to find it, because gun safes are usually pretty big and they're either in your basement or in your garage for the most part, and they're pretty obvious. Now, I hesitate on that a little bit because they may think that you wouldn't put metals in there, it's just your gun safe, and they don't want to mess with that because everything's registered and licensed theoretically. So that could be another place to put it. If you get a real good TL 30x6, which is like a jewelry safe for a jewelry store or a coin shop, you can get those to be smaller, and that's where you're going to put your high expensive stuff like your gold. Okay, and that's where you're going to put your collectible silver coins, as well as in any of the silver that you think's more expensive. Okay, so you want to hide that, and you want it to be in a place they can't find it. Now, wall safes, floor safes might work. They're pretty easy to break into, but they're hard to find. So, like I said, again, the key is to not let people think you have a bunch of stuff. So I will never do a full stack video ever. I freak out when I see other people do that. And even if you don't show your face on YouTube, that doesn't mean that people don't show up to the LCS that you film at and see you there and find out what you look like and find your license plate and follow you home. So, I just don't do that. To some, this might be a lot. To me, this isn't too much, but I try not to. There's no reason to. It doesn't matter how much stuff I have. That doesn't make me an expert or not. And if you think that's the case, then I think you need to, I don't know, figure that out. Yeah, you're good. It's just how they kind of do stuff. You can do that. I would just be very careful with silver. Silver needs to be very airtight and away from moisture, or it's going to look gnarly, right? You're going to get your eagles to tone like crazy. This eagle will end up looking, like this peace dollar over here. You really don't want that. But if you can do that, that's great. Just make sure that someone has a map to find it and it's not hidden out there. Yes, these things can help as well. Oh goodness, don't do that. Also, I'll tell you another rule. Do not get a safe that has a combination, a digital one. Okay, if we have an EMP or we can't get batteries anymore, your safe is useless. Only get safes that have dial combinations. Okay, that's my advice. I will never get a touch button safe, except for my decoy safes. All right, let's see what else you got here. So Rick had checked on their app, so it looks like it was the 660 right now. So I think the 680 might be what some people are charging for it. Don't buy Goldbacks from bullion dealers. Buy them from Alpine Gold Exchange. You get the exact exchange price. Okay. Oh, I gotta put my battery charger in just a second. Sorry guys, it's been one of those days. I almost lost everything here. Okay, thanks for bearing with me. Not having someone else here to talk to is also hard. It makes it too easy for me to ramble, and then I don't have someone else catching me up on these things. That's interesting. So I'm assuming that's for hunting for these coins, right? You want to do get some boxes and hunt for them. I've yet to find any silver. So here in California, the banks are really good at looking at it first. I can't even find, half dollars that are being turned into the bank. They're not there. All right. All righty, let's see. John said go back to nickel stacking. I just think it's funny. He's got a different name every time. Um, yes, I'm still in my PJs. I'm afraid to turn the camera around on myself, guys. I could do that, but I don't think I want to. Michael, welcome to the party. It's all good. I don't know how far behind I am. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can here. Alan Satoshi Greenspan. Yes. He's got some good posts on X. If you guys aren't following him, you should. All right, let's see. Okay, we got a lot of ones. That's good. So I would definitely get a decoy safe, guys. Okay, Welch Co. Services is in the house too. Welcome. 888 the Great. Oh, that's Nickel again. Nickel, come on. Get on this off. Sierra Charlie, mistakes are okay if you learn from them. Okay, let's talk about a little bit of mistakes, and then we'll get to the bigger ones in a second. This guy here, was this a mistake? Let me ask you guys in the chat, okay? So this is a 100-ounce silver bar, and I've got another friend, Chef Stacker LA, who texted me and said, I have 4 of these things, and I'll sell them to you for, I think it was $32.80. Or maybe it was $33, but right around there per ounce. And at the time, it was 50 cents below spot price. Okay. Would you buy a 100-ounce silver bar at 50 cents per ounce below spot price? If you would, put a 4 in. If you would not, put a 5. Okay. Now, I'll explain a few things to you guys. These are really cool bars. They have grooves in the back. They also have serial numbers in the back, so they can be part of a IRA. They got this, I don't know, kind of interesting design there. And then they have the, I don't know what you want to call that, the lip that fits in it. These are the best kind of bars to stack from a ability to just stack them up and not having them fall over the place. If you have other bars that aren't completely flat, which I haven't seen any other bars besides these stacker type bars that are flat. Usually they're the ones that are hand poured and they're not as flat. They're just going to fall all over the place unless you put them in a box and you're safe. Now, I've told you guys to put stuff in a box. Well, these ones are probably not going to get out very easily from someone's hand either. It's pretty heavy. I mean, you have to have a pretty strong forearm to lift that up and get that out of a hole. But I bought this for what I think is a good price. Now, I don't plan on holding on to this forever. And the reason I don't plan on holding on to this forever is it's going to be hard to break this up. Let's say silver gets up to $100 an ounce silver. Now this bar is worth a lot of money. Okay. And now I'm going to hit into restrictions selling it at an LCS, reporting restrictions to the IRS. This is not US minted silver. Okay. It could also have more tax ramifications than silver eagles and this money over here. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind. And then kind of the last thing is do you really want to sell 100 ounces at a time? So that's the problem with this. But I plan on taking these four and either selling them to help pay for my twin daughter's college. Okay, so I might use that for that. I'm hoping the silver price goes up a little bit. It looked like a good deal. And if it's, if this isn't the right product because it hasn't really gone up in value by then, then I might just hold on to it. But I also am looking to take four of these and get that towards a monster box of silver eagles. And I'll tell you why I would do that in a minute. I also have a lot of dimes, half dollars, and quarters already. I've got a guardhouse box of each of them, I believe. I might need a few more quarters left. But that's my bartering stuff. And we'll talk about, I guess we can talk about that now too. So this is your weight stack, okay? It's the stuff you're going to get that's high quality, and you're going to get it at the lowest price possible. These retail from Scottsdale Mint for right around, I want to say like $3,800 for the 100 ounce, okay? And about 380 for the 10th ounce. There's somewhere around there. I basically paid 330, 340. 3,400 or 3,300 for this. It was right around that. I paid way lower than I would if I went to Scottsdale Mint or SD Bullion or any of the other guys to do it. Now, that's not to say not to go buy from them. These are deals that come across that if you don't have cash for, they're gone in a couple hours. This is a text. I have an hour. This guy's going to go to his melter and trade this in and just flip it. If I have the cash and I have the text and I'm available and I say, yes, I want that and take it, I can get the deal. Otherwise, I don't. So I'm not saying don't buy from those other guys. I buy stuff from SD Bullion. I buy stuff from AppMax. What I'm saying is, if you have some cash around, and people were asking, why would you ever have cash around, Surfer? It's so you can buy stuff like this. And so you can buy stuff like this. When your friend calls you up and says, hey, I've got a bunch of Morgan and I've got a bunch of peace dollars. Oh, and by the way, I have a bunch of Mercury dimes. And these aren't the ones that I got from him. These aren't in as good a shape as the ones I got from him. Those ones are like basically BU. These are my favorite dimes. This is what I have the most of, by the way. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, it doesn't look like a regular dime, right? And so because it doesn't look like a regular dime, it's easier to convince someone and teach them that this is silver. But these will get used when I need a dozen eggs, and I have someone that will trade for that. And maybe I'll even be able to get 2 dozen eggs out of it. But these ones basically are going to look like our regular dimes right now, except that they'll have older dates, right? So a lot of people just don't understand that. So for me, this goes into this form, and I just find the right timing to do it. All right. But it was a deal. All right, I'm fast forwarding down. Yes, that's good. I like that. So John Eric is really cool. We're going to do a bunch of stuff together. I'm going to help him get on some of the bigger channels too. And maybe he'll hook me up with a good deal on some of his boxes, which would be pretty cool. But the story is interesting, and I filmed a bunch of stuff with them a couple of months ago. The problem, it was right around a couple of days after Christmas. Problem is he did it all on his phone. He wanted to do it on his stuff. This time I'm going to film it on my stuff. And I'm going to put it on my channel. But I think he hit just like 800,000 people or something crazy like that on Instagram. So he does a lot of cool shorts that really, boost and get a lot of recognition. He has, and we'll do a video on this. He sent 24 karat gold plated coasters to President Trump, and they're sitting in the Oval Office right now, which is pretty cool. Um, let's see. Yeah, I don't know what that refers to. Um, Unfortunately, I've done this and I've never found a single dime. I don't know if people around here are just educated or if there's too many homeless and they take anything they can find in there. So dealers will take these. I can find dealers that'll take this. What they won't take is 1,000 ounce bars, and they've got one sitting there. That's 50 cents over spot that they'll sell that bar for. They're gonna be sitting on that forever. I'm not buying 1,000 ounce Comex bar over spot price. Like I'll take it off their hands for like $2 below spot, maybe $1 below spot. I might take it, carve that thing up, put a cool stamp on it, and sell them as 10th ounce bars. We might do that. If you guys think that would be cool, let me know. But I don't usually buy these. I did have for Christmas 2 years ago, I got each of my family members a 100 ounce bar. Um, and I ended up flipping those, but I got a good deal on them, and they were Johnson Matthey bars that are in high demand. The problem with the 100 ounce bars is they have a decent premium on them when they're those older bars, but like it said here, they're much harder to sell. So I stick to the 10 ounce bars. I don't like even 1 ounce bars. I like 10 ounce bars. Um, and the Scottsdale Mint stackers are nice. They don't look super cool, but they're convenient. Like you can kind of there's lines here, right? It's not as smooth and silky as the hand pour stuff that Scottsdale does, but they're very convenient to stack and they make it easier. I also have a bunch of Royal Canadian Mint 10 ounce bars, and they just fall all over the place. It's not as good. Okay, so we got a bunch of you guys with 5 and 4s. Okay, that's good to know. Um, let's see. You can vault with Andy. There's a lot of different options for vaulting. The key to finding a vault facility is you've got to understand what you're looking for. One I use is super secret. No one knows where it is, and they do an FBI check on you before they'll even text you back. And there's a lot of metals in that place. Yeah, it's close to an airport, but I have to give them like a 4-day notice in order to go in there, and I can only go like 3 or 4 times a year. So that might not be good for you guys. Okay. Now I can get in there more often than that, but it becomes a pain in the butt for them. And it's very, very secure, hard to find. Um, there's other facilities like Blue Vault in Huntington Beach, I believe, is where it is, and they've got one in San Diego where they scan your hand to get you in. Well, do you want your hand? It's just another body part that's on a computer somewhere showing your identity. I think because of all the travel I do now, they got my eyeballs, they got my face, they've got my fingerprints with TSA. The only thing I don't think they have is my palm print. But at this point, if I had to sneak through, I'm going to have no eyes, no face, and no hands. That's not going to work very well. Uh, so dealers they'll buy these. They just won't give you a lot for it. They'll buy it under spot for sure, and they'll sell it over spot. But if you can get them for under spot and you can hold them for a while, it's a deal's a deal. And you just have to decide if you got the money and it's going to make sense. So we'll get to that in a second. I'm going to show you guys some ones to avoid, and we'll get to the Silver Eagles. So this, I would avoid 100 ounce bars unless you're starting to stack a massive amount of silver, and you can fit a lot more silver in this space than you can in this rounded space and putting things in tubes. Okay. So if you've got a really expensive, nice teal 30 or teal 30 by 30 safe by 6, sorry. That means it's teal 30 rated all around it. And you're running out of space, you're going to be able to put a lot more weight of silver in here than in capsules, right? Because that's not square. You're missing all the edges around it. So that's maybe another reason to do it. Outside of that, I would stay away from 100-ounce bars, unless you get a crazy good deal on them and you can flip them somewhere. So let's see. And if I move, one of the problems I'm going to run into is how do I move all this silver cross country? It might be a lot better to convert all my silver to gold and then move the gold. So that's something I kind of think about. And there's a cost to doing that, by the way. So I'd have to find a place that's willing to not be stupid about it. I know, guys, I already told you. I'm not PJs. All right. Don't stack Beanie Babies. Definitely don't. My mom's got a lot of that crap. I told her not to do that. Liberty Bleeds Silver, welcome, and see ya. Sorry, we didn't get down here fast enough. Yeah, that could be true. It just depends on how many people you have. My county has 3.3 million people in it, and we only have a couple coin stores, if you can believe that or not. So that's kind of crazy. There's a lot of rich people down here in Southern California, but they haven't really figured this stuff out yet. Okay, we got caught up, which is pretty darn good. And I'm just going to thank Tiger again for his super chat. So if you guys haven't seen Tiger's channel, definitely go check him out. Okay, what's the stuff I kind of wish I didn't buy? And how did I buy it? A lot of this was bought at YouTube online auctions when I first got started, about 4 years ago, when I was starting to stack heavily, not when I first started stacking. That was about 6 years ago. But a lot of these are coins that you got to be careful with. Okay, so for example, these koalas, I didn't really overpay for these. Okay, I think I probably paid. I think these were just around $30. Okay, it's a high quality coin from, I believe this is the Perth Mint that makes these. They're numbered on the back so I can keep track of them. So anyway, there's a system to that, especially when we go to coin shows. We have to do this so we can make sure we didn't lose anything. But these weren't too bad. But if I was in Australia, this might be a coin that I would consider buying. They look really nice, and if I can pick these up for, just a buck more than buying kangaroo, I probably would. I do not like the kangaroo design. I think they look like junky coins. Sorry if anybody's from Australia, but I just don't think they look very nice. Now, I haven't seen one in person, so I could be missing that, but online they just don't look great. These look way, way nicer. So I got a handful of these. We got a good price on this stuff. Okay, so this wasn't too bad, but I wouldn't go pay a premium for this. So, my thought here is if you like the koala design, get one, put it aside. If you've got 4 kids and you want to leave one to each kid, get 4 of them, leave them to the kids. If you can pick up a silver eagle, okay, and you can pick this up for the same price, then you might want to get these because these do have a little bit of a higher premium and some people might like them. However, tax ramifications, this could end up saving you money down the road. It is more recognizable and will most likely be easier to trade with if you want to do that. And then when you go to sell it back, depending on the dealer, they still may give you more for an American Silver Eagle over a koala. So that's something to be careful with. Okay, so I wouldn't go heavy stacking these. Now you've got to understand too. We've had a coin booths for a couple of years at Long Beach. They just got rid of it, and so sometimes I buy stuff because it's going to do well at the coin show. Okay, so I didn't know these were in here. These are fine. Okay, and someone brought up the question of slabbing. All right, so this one will go back over here because that one's okay. So let's talk about slabbing for a minute. And we'll keep touching this nasty one that's gotten all toned. And maybe you guys like toning. I'm not a big fan of toning. To me, that just looks like it's been sneezed on. It's diseased. The problem with 3/9 fine silver, okay, or even 4/9 fine silver, is that it's going to tone. It's going to have issues with getting scratches on it, dinging it up. You probably don't want to be touching it with your hands, okay, very much. This has a little bit of exposure over here, but not for too long. So you can put them in capsules. The capsules are going to run you about $1 each, okay? If you're getting the nice Air-Tite ones. They're about $1 each. Maybe you can get them, if you buy them in bulk, down to 50 cents. So yeah, you're not gonna really barter with these guys. This other stuff is what you barter with over here. I'm just saying you could potentially do that. When you look at the Eagle, if you're going to be handling it or you want to see one, get a capsule. It'll keep it looking a lot better. And you can, have that in your pocket, show people, carry it around as little backup money, things like that. You don't need to put them in capsules though. Really all you need to do is get a nice mint tube, put a little foam at the top of it. Well, you got to make sure it's the right kind of foam. This had something else in it, which is why this coin's toned. I think it had some paper towel in there, and that's probably what caused the toning on this guy. But I buy Eagles, not to barter, and I don't buy these for SHTF. I buy them for another reason. I'll tell you guys that in a minute. Let's finish going through a few of these other coins that I would be cautious with getting. Okay, here's another one. This one's really cool. It's a proof. Now, why do I have this? I was going to flip these on eBay, and I was going to flip this at the coin show. Well, guess what? Everybody else had the same idea. So that did not work out. I think I ended up losing $10 on each one of these coins I bought. I bought 5 or 6 of them. So with these, I lost the money on that, and it's okay. You learn a lesson from it, right? Sometimes you got to try things out. I did keep this one though, okay, and partially because the gold coin in this version goes for like $12,000 right now or higher. At least that's what people are trying to get for it. I think some of the highest sells for it have been around 8 or 9,000, and it's just kind of a cool design. It's kind of it's Liberty, and it's from the Liberty series, and it's also kind of this fun Western bucking bronco, and then it has a killer eagle on the back of it. Okay, so don't stack these, but they're fun to get. They're fun to get still. Okay. All right, what else we got in here? Okay, these ones are okay to stack if you buy them at the right price. So these are, let's see, Cook Island. So this is Cook Island, and I forget the cutter that this is, the ship it is. But I was able to pick up a bunch of these, and I picked these up at the same price as getting around. So would you take a Silver Buffalo, or would you take one of these? I'd take one of these. It's technically a let's see, I believe it's technically a coin. Does it tell us though? Yeah, $1. It's technically a coin, not a round. So if you can get coins for the same price as rounds, sometimes that can be good. Now the problem with having a bunch of these different kinds, now I've got a bunch of different SKUs, and if something happens to me, my family's got to figure out what are they going to do with all this stuff, and how much are the different ones worth. So you got to keep track of all of that kind of stuff. Now you're going to see a theme here in the next few, and I don't regret buying these. I just don't think you should stack them. Okay, so these are some more cool coins. This is the One Noble Viking ship, and I have Viking ancestry in my blood. So I thought that was pretty cool. And this is the St. Vincent over here, and I just thought it was a cool looking coin. Okay, these are both coins. They're fun. They're fun to look at. Don't go crazy buying a bunch of these. You're usually going to pay more for these than you are for an American Silver Eagle. If these are in auctions and you have someone that is new to stacking that has a little bit of a wallet, they might get this coin up to like $45, $50 right now. And you might be like, well, that's not worth it. So anytime you go to an online auction on YouTube, or if you're looking at eBay, you need to understand what the coin usually sells for And then you need to better understand what your limit is and what you're willing to do. Do not get yourself in a crazy situation. Okay, so that's those two guys. Let me see what else you guys have in the questions for me real quick. And if you have any other questions, put them in caps for me too. Got it. Now I got it. It's not exactly a clown show suit though. I mean, if you saw it, it's just a t-shirt and it's like loungy and long pants. It's really not that bad. I just haven't done my hair yet either. So you don't barter with eagles, guys, unless it's all you have left and you're starving. Then you'll barter with it. But no, you don't want to barter with eagles. We're going to get to that in a minute, why I have eagles and why I have more eagles than I have of anything else. Rigged capsule, I suppose so. Oh, Mike's laughing now. My county has 20,000 people, no LCS within 100 miles, rural Wyoming living. Well, I'm guessing more people out there actually know what gold and silver is, though. All right. Yes, silver buffaloes are good too. So, what I would tell you guys of everything in here from a strategy standpoint, real quick, dimes. I would stack as many dimes as I can get my hands on all day long. This stuff is good for bartering and stores will take it. Now, there's times where people do not like constitutional silver, and that's when they start calling it junk silver. So when you start hearing them calling it junk silver, that might be a time where you're going to have a hard time getting good value for it. A lot of it's been melted down because people just didn't think much of it. But I think we live in different times. So unless the world stops being stupid and evil and trying to tax the heck out of its people, I think this stuff's still going to be around and be valuable. And it's going to start to get even older and older as time goes by. So number one, I would stack as many dimes as I can get my hands on at a good price. Okay. I think the highest I've ever paid for dimes has been $22 face for dimes. Most of what I've bought has been at 16 and 18. And I filled, some guardhouse boxes with that. I like the idea of having $100 face minimum per family member. And if you can afford it, go to 200, go to 300. There's really not a place that you need to necessarily stop with it. It's just, these aren't as fun to stack. And oftentimes you can't find the best prices on them at a massive bulk. Okay. Or it may be too much bulk. It might be $1,000 space and you don't want $1,000 space. And so you kind of have to wait for the deals to go on. But this is the number one silver I'd stack. Number two that I would stack is Eagles, US as well. I'm gonna have to work on this camera thing. I don't know. I'm not liking StreamYard. I think I'm gonna have to either do OBS or different service. There's no way to focus anything in here. Just they don't let you do it. It's weird. But anyway, this coin here would be my second most stacked coin that I would go with. And the reason for that is these are the best to turn around and sell, LCSs. And they're the best coin that's most recognized in the nation. So would I barter with them? No. However, I will tell you that if someone has a silver buffalo, okay, let's just pretend this is the silver buffalo, and you've got a silver eagle. Most of the silver buffaloes do not have this nice, luster to them. Okay, they're just kind of cheap and stamped. And I'm not a fan of how they look, but they are recognized. Okay, to me, they just kind of look like secondhand knockoff coins. They don't look the same as a sovereign coin. So for some people, that might be hard for them to accept it as silver. For other people, they may look at it and love the design, right? But if it came down to the last pound of rice somewhere, and this guy's got a buffalo and you've got an eagle, I'm pretty sure you're going to walk away with that rice. You might even be able to get more rice if there's if there's more rice around. It's not just the last package. You might be able to get more rice having a coin like this versus one that is a silver buffalo. Okay, I can't tell you for sure. Those are some other considerations for these. Then you have the tax ramifications with them too, is they may end up becoming exempt from paying, capital gains tax. And so that's kind of nice about them as well. And my recommendation with buying Silver Eagles is to buy them in monster boxes. If you can't afford that, buy them by the tube. And if you can't afford that, then I would look at Buffaloes. You're going to get a much better price buying them by tube or monster boxes. I would not go buying these individually. You're going to pay way too much for them. So I recently bought a bunch of Eagles and I paid $35.50 per Eagle. Okay. And that was like 2 months ago. And I think that's a pretty good price for BU Eagles. All right. So let's see what else you guys have in here. All right. I'll come back to JT in a second here. Surfer, if you had to choose for the purpose of making money, buying and selling stocks or buying and selling silver and gold, which do you prefer and find easier? Okay, this stuff is not easy to sell, okay? And it's not easy to buy. It's physical and it's a little bit harder. So I'm going to tell you the pros and cons to this, guys. So I can't tell you exactly how to do it. It's YouTube, it's public. I can't share all my secrets on here, partially because I'm not an accountant and I don't know who's listening to this. That's what to be honest, that's what this thing's for. Okay, you want to know exactly how I do it and which ones I would do, you got to be on that thing there. Or you've got to sign up for one of my members on YouTube for the level that gives you access to my phone number. I think it might only be $3 a month. I can't remember. You'll have to go look at it. But I can't tell you exactly how I would do that, guys, but I can give you a little bit of hint. So when you buy silver here in California, you technically have to pay sales tax on any transaction under $2,000. Now, just like the old days of the internet, anytime you bought something on the internet, you were supposed to send into your state sales tax. I don't think anybody did that. But you could potentially have tax when you're buying it. You need to be aware of that. When you're selling it at a coin show, you technically have capital gains on any gain above what you bought it at. Okay, but there aren't reporting rules there. Okay, I'll leave it at that. So in a lot of ways, it depends on how you buy the silver, and it depends on how fast you can move it and what you're willing to sell in your profit margin with moving this stuff. So a typical coin show, you're going to go through $40,000-$50,000 in a couple days of metals and cash. That's buying and selling. I found that we were making a lot more money off of buying at coin shows than we were at selling. I think we were buying 5% below spot, and we were getting like a lot of dimes and peace dollars and Morgan dollars. We were getting eagles, at 5% below spot. Okay, catch my drift there. That stuff's good. We were buying these guys at 5% below spot at the coin show. Okay, and we were buying these guys. Basically, I think we're picking these up around. No, we did 5% below spot or melt on these guys. Okay. So you can make some money doing that. The problem is how many shows do you go to? We were only doing 3 shows a year. So it really doesn't totally pay off when you ramp things up. You get banners and signs, and then you buy certain inventory, and then you gotta unload it. For that reason, I think selling and buying and trying to make money from moving gold and silver is a pain in the butt. And I think it's hard to do. I wouldn't recommend it unless you really want to turn it into a business and you can go to a coin show, say at least once a month or twice a month with a booth. If you can do that, then I think, yes, you can make money. And I think you can, thousands of dollars a month doing it. Stock trading, way easier. And it's way easier to lose money. It's way easier to make money. And the transactions are pretty easy. So if you're going to do that, you need to understand how to read charts. You need to understand how to read macro indicators, and you've got to do a lot of research so that you know which direction the gold and silver is heading. Like today, crypto got destroyed today, and gold and silver was down a little bit as well. I have no idea. I haven't had time to even go look at the news yet. I don't know what happened today that caused that. Maybe you guys do. I was hoping to talk about it on the channel, but we're going to run out of time by the time I finish this, and then show you guys this other really cool thing over here that I don't recommend buying, but it's kind of fun. that's my take on stocks. Stocks can go to zero. Okay. A $17 billion company, $100 billion company, $1 trillion company can have its stock go to zero because the stock is only worth what the next person's willing to buy. It has nothing to do with what the company's worth or the assets of the company. That's something they don't tell you about. You need to understand that. So we can have a stock market crash that goes down 90% and you get wiped out. Yet you could say, hey, these companies are still functioning today. They're still selling stuff. Things are still going. It just means that people don't want to hold it anymore. They're out. I don't see any situation where silver is going down by 90%. I don't see that happening. So to answer that, build your stack of gold and silver, build your strategy, start working on it, keep track of it. And if you have extra money and you want to go faster and you want to grow it faster, you might set aside 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 bucks, maybe $100,000, and you start trading that in the stock market. And you could get a 20% return. You could get a 5% return. You might even be able to get a 1,800% return. Okay. And when you make that money, pull out your initial investment, pay yourself back. I'd go put it into silver or gold. And then I would take double the amount you put into it as a profit back to yourself, pay yourself for all the hard work you did. Now you're playing with the house's money and go invest that. Okay, that's the key to doing that kind of investing. JT Coins, thank you for the coin drop ping. So you guys should definitely check out JT Rings. I got someone on here that's been watching us that's really freaking out that we took a Morgan dollar and turned it into a ring. I rest assured you, it's a very gnarly Morgan dollar we put in there, and it's something that would probably end up getting melted by someone. It's not going to be like a good trade coin, but I don't recommend taking history and getting rid of it and destroying it. Um, you know, even a proof eagle. Here's a proof eagle. I don't recommend having very many of these, but it's kind of cool to have at least one. I think this is the only one I have, so that's kind of fun. But what is this? A 1990. And a lot of times you can find these in MS69 on eBay and other places for the price of a regular eagle on an auction, and you might be able to steal them. All right. Yes, ICG. I don't even deal with that. So do that. And this is what I was saying. Yeah, same thing. A lot of times it's worth about the same. Okay. But if it's slabbed, it's in a nice case. It's not a bad, it's not a bad option. I bet a bunch of these would come back as 69s. Um, they've been bouncing around in a tube for who knows how long. We got Echo Leaf in here. Let's see. If silver goes to 40 an ounce, would constitutional sell for 40 times face? We don't know exactly what constitutional is going to do if that happens, but I don't think it's going to sell for that. I would guess if we go to $40 silver, you're probably closer to around $30 face would be my guess. We'd probably have to go do a little calculation in it. I don't think this is going to move as fast as like the Silver Eagles will in price as far as you buying them. These guys may lag a little bit too. And that's another point to bring up here real quick with these guys. Okay, so these are the expensive ones. Okay, I think these are about $80 to $90, well, $70 to $90 1 ounce silver coins. They didn't make very many of them. They're really cool looking. And this is the Mary Reed 1 ounce silver, Solomon Islands. It's a nice coin. This is kind of a fun coin to have. Now, is it really worth that? Only because I could sell it at eBay for about that price. Okay. Problem is I bought these on an auction, and I probably paid $10 below what they're worth on eBay. But by the time I go to sell them on eBay, I'm going to lose money from the shipping and from the fees on eBay. So this just becomes a coin that you better like if you're going to pay that much money for it. And I do. I think it's a really cool coin. So don't have very many of these. Okay, but this came in a 3 series. So here's the other one, the Xing Shi. That's another one that's kind of cool. But this is the stuff you've got to worry about from the auction, because it might start off at like 30 bucks and you think, okay, that's a great deal. If I can get that over an eagle, I'm going to do it. It's a nice looking coin. Next thing you know, you're stuck in a battle with someone and now egos kick in and you paid, 60 bucks for it. And then you realize, okay, it's not too bad. It's maybe worth $75, but you're going to break even if you sell it on eBay. And then you got to start an eBay store and pay 30 bucks a month. And that's if you want to have it be an $8 fee. You're okay with a massive, I say a massive 13% fee, you can go without the store, but if you're selling gold, man, you don't want to do that. Okay, another cool coin. These usually don't have too high of premiums on them, but every one of these, like this is the Cuddy Sark. Every one of these coins has a premium over an eagle. Okay, that's where you're going to buy it at. And guess what the coin store is going to do? They're going to give you probably spot for this or a buck below spot, and they'll go spot for an eagle or a buck above spot. Now, if it was one of these coins, I put them at the bottom. It's one of these other pirate ship coins here. You might be able to talk to your LCS or pawn shop and show them how much it goes for on eBay. And, they may give you 45 bucks for it. Okay, if you're lucky. And that's if they have a way to sell it to someone that would pay a lot more for it. You might actually even see it for sale for 45 or 50 bucks when you come back. But a coin like this is cool if you like ships, otherwise don't buy it. It's going to cost you more than a buffalo round. So what I want to point out here is, let's look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so these 10 silver coins here probably cost the same amount as getting, let's say 14 silver buffaloes. Okay, would you rather have 14 ounces of silver or 10? In the long scheme, you want 14 ounces of silver, because as silver goes to 40 bucks, some of these may go a little bit higher. So let's say this is on eBay today at 40 bucks. When silver hits $40, this will probably go up to $45, but it may not go up to 48, 49 bucks. And so percentage wise, you might make out a lot better just having buffaloes. And that's one of the big cases for buffaloes. Even with eagles, you're going to pay like a $3 or $4 premium on an eagle, where you might pay say you're going to pay a $3 to $5 premium on an eagle. And on a buffalo round, you might only pay $1, $1.50, maybe $2. When you go to sell it, it might only be $1 difference between the two different kinds of coins. So this will cost you more selling into it. But things like backdated eagles are becoming a little bit more valuable. And then having a backdated sealed monster box of these kind of coins pays off. A lot of people were picking these up at $14,000, $15,000 a couple of years ago for a monster box of backdated silver eagles. And a lot of those boxes are going for $21,000, $22,000 now, when you can buy a 2025 box for about $18,500. So you can make some money off of it. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. I'm going to go into a couple more coins here. Yeah, I'd agree with this. I agree with that. Any recommendations on LCSs in Southern California, Los Angeles? So email me, stackingsurfer@gmail.com. And you can also find it in the channel description. I can send you a couple places to go consider looking at. But we also, I work closely with OC Stacker that's in the chat here. We have better things than even LCSs. So, a funny thing, I've put out so many posts and asked so many people if they want to buy this silver that we get at crazy good deals, like these bars here, right? I've been trying to put a network together for a long time to help people buy at spot or below spot. We don't need to make a huge margin on things if we can move them quickly. If I've got a friend that says, hey, I'll sell these 100-ounce bars to you for $3,300, and they're selling for $3,800. And I can find someone in our community here that's willing to pay $3,400 for it. And I make $100 off the transaction real quick from a referral. You're saving $400 on it, and I'm making $100. My friend's making a few bucks on it. Everybody's pretty happy. We have a lot of situations like that that happen all the time, especially on rounds. Okay, not so much on eagles, but on rounds. And then we get it on dimes and we get it on piece dollars and Morgans from time to time. However, we usually suck those up and we suck the dimes up, but we get a lot of quarters and half dollars. And we've tried to set up a buying club a few times, but no one seems to care about it. So we just kind of pass on it. But if you guys have interest, send me an email. Say I have interest. Let me know when you get the next deal. We can always help you guys out with that stuff. All right, let's see. Michael Porter, don't tell people. They freak out. But I get it. You don't want to destroy history if you can help it. All right, let's see. Yes, so what's going to happen is your LCS is probably going to offer you 17 face for 17 times melt. 17 times face on these. They'll probably turn around and sell them for about 22 to 23. And they've got to make a margin somewhere, right? That's the issue with it. So they've got overhead and all that stuff. I don't have overhead. Now, I don't do a lot of that stuff. For me, it's usually just a referral to help someone. I don't have the time to do that. I didn't even have time to get dressed today. Okay, here's another cool one I traded with a friend, and I didn't really want to do it, but he insisted. So this is it's kind of cool though. It's the Liberty Happiness, Life, Liberty, and Happiness. A mark, 3/9's fine, pure silver. On the side, it has a cool eagle, and this is technically a round. So that's kind of cool. It's got nice luster too. That's a nice round. You're going to pay more for that than a buffalo. And I'm going to give you guys if I were to start stacking today, I'll give you in a minute exactly what I would do. Okay, these are crazy. This is Silver Shield, and I've got one of our fellow stackers keeps telling me to contact this guy and bring him on. The FBI is going to come after me if I do it, though. There's a lot of history there. This is the only Silver Shield coin I have, but I love this design that's on the back of it, and so I don't really care how much I paid for this coin or what it's worth. Sometimes I like designs of something. I'm going to keep it. But this is 2019, and it's kind of a crazy coin. It says "Don't be evil" all over it, and then it's got two skeleton heads coming off one guy holding cash, and then there's that looks like a drone to me coming in. Don't know what that is. I have two Korean coins I'll show you guys. So I didn't even know what I was pulling out. I just grabbed what I could find. These I just thought kind of looked cool, so I picked them up. And they're the only two Korean coins I have. These are Chiwoo is what I think they call them. I don't know what this other word is, but they're kind of cool coins. They're like completely different than any other coin I've seen. They've got a really good look to them. I think they're called clays. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, one clay. So it is legal tender. Well, I should say it's like a silver eagle, right? One clay. The back of it has, that's interesting. I hadn't realized that before, but it does have let's see, it goes between 999 and AG on the bottom here. So it's got that security feature that's similar to the gold Spanish coins. And this is 2021, both of them. And then this is their famous shield, Dogaba, I think is how you say it. So it's kind of cool, to have a couple coins around and stuff like that. So here's what I'll tell you guys at the end of the day. Here's the issue. Bars are great if you have a ton of money and you need to stack stuff in a very efficient way. And you want something that's very liquid. These bars are very liquid if you put them in a vault facility that also buys and sells metals. Okay. So if you have $1 million in silver, I wouldn't even mess with any of this stuff like this. Like maybe you have a few cool coins at home, okay? But if you are buying $1 million in silver, you're not buying this stuff. You know, this stuff is not even something you're going to even worry about. You're just not going to buy this stuff. You're going to buy bars because you're going to be able to buy the bars at a much cheaper, um, for a lot less fiat dollars than eagles. You're also not going to buy your eagles. You're not going to worry about this stuff because if you have that much money and you're buying silver in that quantity, you're planning on turning that back into something else at some time, most likely. Now, some people may be like, all I want is constitutional silver, give me $1 million of it. But that's what the bars are really for, okay? It goes the same with gold. For most of us, if you're going to have less than 100 ounces of gold, then you're really not going to be getting into kilo bars. You're not going to just go buy 3 bars. You're probably going to go buy some pre-33 gold. Put these guys over here. You're probably going to go buy some Krugerrands. You might get some Eagles and Buffaloes, right? There you go. It's in really good shape too. And you know, you're going to do stuff like that. Now, next thing I'm going to show you guys here are these other really cool coins. See if I can move this stuff without knocking it over. So I'm going to give you the best and save it for the last, you guys. Okay. So I bought this back in the day when I believed that if you created a set or you completed a set, that it would be like 1 plus 2 equals 5 instead of 1 plus 2 equals 3. I've come to learn that that's not actually usually the case. The first coin in this series, Al Capone, 2021. The second one is Bonnie and Clyde, 2022, and then John Dillinger, 2022 as well. I don't know what happened to the fourth one. I haven't seen it anywhere, so I don't think they made it. It came with this hay crap that makes a big mess. It's everywhere, but it's what it comes with, so you kind of have to keep it. I don't know, maybe I should put it in the bag. But these are cool coins. Don't get me wrong, it's been kind of fun collecting them. You had to buy the first one in order to get this case. Okay. So if you start with one of these other ones, you're stuck going back and buying the first one. The first one, uh, you know, these retailed for $500, and they are, I think they're 3-ounce rounds, or sorry, they're coins, 3-ounce coins. But there you go. There's Al Capone. There's a hole through it. Okay. It has high relief, which is why it comes in this thick capsule. And this is number 296. Okay. And take the COA out carefully. They only did, oh gosh, why don't I see it here? Some Nui, it's 2 ounces. Okay. It's antique finished. It's also gold plated. 500. Okay. Each of these have 500 coins. For people that are collecting this kind of stuff, a lot of times they like to have the lower numbers, or they like to have a favorite number. You know, so sometimes you can get a little bit more selling them. But this is something I planned on selling on to eBay, and I'm debating right now. So I want to hear from you guys. But wait until I show you all the coins. Should I keep this or should I sell it? Okay. And I'm going to tell you how much they're worth in a minute. But here's Al Capone. It's the first one. It's pretty high relief. It's cool. This is a cool thing to maybe put on your desk, maybe get rid of all the hay crap. But it is from Nue, so it's $5, and it's gold gilded on this side, and it's a revolver. Okay, that's pretty cool. So there's the first one. Got these in the wrong order. Second one here, Bonnie and Clyde. All right, you got the hole through it, which is kind of cool, and it's like really pushed up. And there you go. There's the I guess technically this would be the obverse because it's got the seal on it. And there's your reverse. It's funny, on a lot of these coins, we like the reverse is way better. But this isn't going to get too heavy for the lid. Okay. Then you've got John Dillinger. And, you know, that looks pretty darn cool too. I don't know who this last one is and if it's even coming out or not. But I've noticed that Matt or Stormy at Empire Precious Metals still has just the 3. So I don't think they've come out with the last one. But these are cool. There's only 500 people that are going to have all three of these. And I bet you that there aren't 500 people that have all three of these. You've got 500 people that have this one, okay, and the box. And you might have some people that have this one that haven't sold to that original person yet. But I'll tell you what these are worth in just a minute here. A quick thing I want to talk to you guys about tomorrow at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to be doing a live stream. And let me see if I can share the image for you with you guys real quick. All right, I'm going to put this on the stage. We're going to do a live stream. And this is the box I'm going to use. I don't know if you can see it very well. This is the GAR box. Okay, cedar inside. I'm going to fill this with silver. Okay. And I'm going to do, I don't know what silver I'm going to put in here yet, but I'm not going to count it. And I'm going to close this up. And we're going to be looking at this box. Silver Heist is going to have another box. And we're asking you guys to guess how much silver's in there. We'll probably do some gauze for it as well. And I know you guys are staying for the gauze. You're hoping I'm giving this thing away. But once I tell it to you, you'll know why I can't. At least not without getting divorced. But we'll probably do some giveaways tomorrow on it as well. We're going to be looking at how much silver could fit in there. I think Silver Heist is going to be filling it with constitutional dimes, quarters, and half dollars. And then we're going to be doing a live count on it. Okay, so what I won't be doing is filling this thing up with a bunch of silver bars. We're not going to do that. But we are going to ask you guys, show you it before we start counting and get an idea from it. So start thinking through that a little bit, see what you think it might actually be worth, because we'll do the gauze based on how close people get to the guess. Okay. Which is going to be interesting because I don't think we're going to know the range. We know it's more than one. All right, so let me take that back off. And then next, just a couple announcements. If you guys haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe and bell icon. Okay, so I'll throw that out there for you guys real quick. And then the other thing I'll do is remind you about Andy from Miles Franklin, info@milesfranklin.com. If you haven't done so yet, I'd recommend going over to him, email him, and at least set up an account. It doesn't cost you any money to do it. But if we do get into a situation where we have bank holidays or we have silver really take off or gold takes off or whatever else, having that account already set up is going to make things a lot easier for you to buy. Okay. Or if you want to sell, I'd start getting a relationship with someone over there to to work with them and get to know them a little bit. Same with your LCS. Okay. A little bit of money goes to the channel if you buy stuff. It doesn't cost you anymore. Okay. You're going to get better prices. At least I've seen a lot better prices from the few people I've talked to that have shared that information with me than I've seen from other online bullion dealers. They just don't list it on their website. Okay, last thing, mentor program, 30% discount. I believe it expires on Saturday. If you go to do this and it's expired on you and you try to do it on Saturday, send me an email and I'll see if we can still get it for you. It's a good program. I'm figuring out how to use the software to show you what my trades are. But if you want to know what I'm trading for my gold and silver mining stocks, if you want to know when I'm buying something like this, or I'm picking up a monster box of Eagles and I'm looking to sell tubes of them at a discount below anybody else online, things like that, we're going to cover that. If you want to learn how to pick up silver below spot, we're going to be talking about that too. Okay, so that's just a quick little ad there. But going back to these guys here, I'm going to pull up eBay real quick so that we can see, and then we'll go ahead and do our GAW because I do have to get some other things going today too. But let's do this real quick. Okay, eBay. And I think this is the Gangster Series 2 ounce silver coins. Okay. So I'm going to share this with you guys to kind of understand things. I'm going to tell you what I paid for it too. So let's do this. Can you guys, I think you guys can see that okay, but let me move it to this view. Oh, this view is better. Can I move that thing? Actually, I can't do, if I do that, you won't be able to hear me. That'll remove me from the stage completely. All right, we're just gonna have to deal with this. Okay, so this one, I believe, this first one here, I believe I paid, I think I picked this guy up for 500 bucks on eBay because the series had already started. The next two I was able to pick up, I think I picked this one up for about 380 bucks for each of these. Okay, is what I picked these up at. And you can see what they're going for now. So this Dillinger one, someone's trying to sell that for 600 bucks. Okay. Here's a full set of the three for 27.27. And let's see. So I think I got those for 380 each. Plus 500. So I paid 1260 for this set. Okay. So if I try to go sell this, and these guys are coming from Germany. I don't know why, like there's some guys in Germany always selling stuff on eBay. And they I wouldn't buy stuff from Germany coming here. It's like way too much distance to ship it. But anyway, 27.27. You've got 3,000 bucks for this offer here. 21 people watching this one. No one's watching this one. It's the other issue you run into with eBay is it's all individual listings, and sometimes your listing, no one can find it. But if I look at this listing here and being able to sell that, I could basically double my money having held this for about a year and a half. That's not a bad investment. So this also becomes a really cool piece to lay the back of it all the way flat and put it into a case at a coin show. People come up and they're like, wow, that's really cool. I want to see that. So we've also kind of used it for that. That may be it, but let's go search this a little bit better here. We're going to steal this title. Stop. Okay. We're going to take mouse. Take the other stuff off. We're going to see if we can find more. So I'm teaching you guys how to use eBay a little bit here too. All right, so I'm not finding other sets on that. Let's see if there's another way to look. Maybe we take all of these off. I spell silver, right? Okay, let's see what we get. So here you go. Here's someone selling one by itself with the box for $9.25. 600 for that coin. That's not a bad deal for one of those, by the way. 904 for this one. So there's not a whole lot of choices here now. There's only 500 people. So I'm going to caution you guys on this stuff, right? I wouldn't go buy this unless I wouldn't buy something like this unless you have the money to buy it as a piece of art that you hold on to. Let's say silver goes to $300 down the road. Okay. And there's only 500 of these. And let's say a fourth coin comes out. So that adds, another 380, 400 bucks value to it. This is something that only 500 people on the planet are ever going to have. Someone that's a big, huge fan of the original gangsters, so to speak, of the US at least, may love this thing. And this may be something that ends up going on to an auction and picking up a whole bunch of money. But it's a piece of art. It's not very liquid. I'm going to put this up for sale probably, unless you guys tell me not to. Then maybe I'll hold it. But this is the kind of thing I can put up for sale, and it can sit there on eBay for 3 years, and eventually it'll sell. So be very careful buying these kinds of things. Now, I didn't necessarily just buy this to flip it, but I did buy it to, potentially take with me to coin shows, which we have done. And then I bought it as something that I would probably, hold on to as a fun piece of art down the road, so to speak, or sell it. So be careful with these kinds of things, okay? Now, let's talk about the best way to stack, okay? And when I mean best bang for your buck, okay? You can stack a lot of this kind of stuff and you could make a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. You could flip a lot of this. You could stack a lot of these kinds of coins over here we looked at, and you can make a lot of money, especially if you're buying them directly from the mint or from AppNext right when they release. Those ship coins I was showing you here, when these first came out, they would have only been a couple bucks above spot price. So let's say spot price was $25 when these came out. You were probably paying like $30 for it. Okay. Maybe 29, maybe 28, somewhere around there. And you may have only been paying a buck or two for an eagle. But I think eagles have been higher than that for a long time. But let's say this is $5 more to buy this, maybe $6 more. And then the coin ends up going for $70 and you get a whole tube of 20 of these and you sell those on eBay, you're making money. So you can't do that. Okay, so that's these guys. I wouldn't go crazy buying anything like this. If you've got some money and you would go spend it on other dumb stuff, you can pick up a few things like this and have some fun with it. It at least still has its value at 2 ounces. This is something that would probably always garner more than spot price. But will you get your money back out of it? That is to be determined. And I don't know why they put hay in it. It's just kind of dumb. Really messy. Okay, so let's put that guy over to the side. We'll bring these guys back over. So let's talk about stacking the way that I really recommend it. And I kind of alluded to that a minute ago. If I were starting over again today and I had $10,000, and I'll use $10,000 because each of you can, and we're going to do a GAW here in a minute. Each of you can extrapolate that out. So if you have 100,000, you times it by 10, and your strategy is going to change a little bit as it gets bigger. But if I had $1,000, I would start off by probably going out and buying $200 face of dimes. Okay. And I would look for the premium difference. If I can buy, the Mercury dimes are falling. If I can buy Mercury dimes for the same price, I'm going to go with those. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. You will notice that a lot of these are worn. Okay, not these ones. These ones have been sitting around. These are pretty good shape. If these are worn, you're going to get less silver. Okay. I've talked to Yankee. Yankee, he would rather have these guys because he basically believes that when we get to a barter type society, it's going to be based on weights and scales, not on coins. He might be right, but that's if people have scales and we have a way of keeping them accurate. So that might take some time to build that out if you're really getting into a bartering society. In addition to that, people may not always have a scale with them. And so if you're kind of like grabbing a handful of these and doing a handshake to someone, everything's digital, there's CBDCs everywhere, and you want to use some silver to do some other bartering out of the system. Okay, just an example, not saying that's going to happen. You won't have a scale. And it's going to be much easier for someone to look at one of these and just go, yep, that's real. Okay, good. I don't have to test it. I don't have to worry about it. But when you buy them, always test them. Okay, every one of these have been tested. I like the Mercury the most. barbers are usually way too worn. So, you'll end up having, you know, you'll be down like 5 or 6 dimes in a tube. So you don't want to do that. So that's where I would start there is I would go and spend, you know, 20% of the 10,000 bucks on getting these guys. Now, if you get all the way up to $100,000 and that's what you're investing, I wouldn't necessarily have 20% of it in dimes, but you could. Okay, once I did that, the next thing I would look at doing is I would go and I'd probably go and buy 2 tubes of silver eagles. Okay, still US coinage. And we're going to put those back in here. So I'd go buy those. And the best way to do that, guys, is like this. And I don't use gloves because I can't hold on to anything with gloves. And I'm not going to sit here for 2 hours with sweaty hands and rubber gloves. Not doing that. And it's my silver anyway. I don't really care that much. All right. These things are fighting me going there. Ugh. All right. So they're in there. I'd probably go buy a couple tubes of these. Is what I would do. There's going to be around like 800 bucks each. So you go buy a couple tubes of those. I would skip these unless you can buy them under $27 a piece. I'd skip these unless you can buy them for under 28 bucks a piece. But you could pick up some of this. But these are the 2 things I would focus on right off the bat with silver. The third one I would focus on, and I don't have it here with me, is going to be getting a couple tubes of buffalo rounds. Now, if you can find other rounds for the same cost as buffalo rounds, those will work and those will do too. Then what I would do, and I don't have the exact total, guys, so I might be off a little bit on this, but I'd go get one of these guys. I'd go get a pre-33 gold coin. Okay. That's the first coin I get, but I get it raw, not graded. And I try to get it in XF or better condition. And that's really where I would start. So you're looking at, if you do one of those, you're looking at, let's just call it 3,300 bucks or so. You guys are going to make me get a calculator out, aren't you? So let's take 10 grand minus about 3,300 for the gold. I think these are going to be 800 each. Okay. And then face, you're probably going to be getting it at, you're going to be buying got to buy at least $100 face bag. So you're going to be, I think those are going for around 23 right now. It's 2,300 bucks for that. So what I would probably do is get 2 of those bags if you have a spouse of the constitutional dimes to start off with at least. And that's going to leave you with 500 bucks to get some buffalo rounds. So you're not going to be able to get a full tube of buffalo rounds. But that's what I would do. Now, when you go to do the next 10,000, then I'd start to look at, finding some American gold eagles or buffaloes. If you can buy these at a good price, you can consider doing that. But I wouldn't buy these until you have a stack of American gold. You could also continue to add more of these if you want. So you can continue to add these, or I would go for gold buffaloes. I like those better than eagles, but you can go with either one of those. All right. So Jake's Custom Parts hooked us up with a super chat. So thank you, buddy. Give you a quick shout out. He's been a great mod and helping us on a lot of stuff. And we're going to do hopefully pretty soon a live on X with Andy and a couple other silver folks. Let's see. Just want to see your stuff real quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do a GAW. So we got to 100 likes on the Bo and Andy video. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if you had any other questions. I'm using StreamYard. I don't like it. It's clunky and it lacks a lot of features. There's a better service I can use for my Macintosh that is way better, but no one else really uses that one. So that's part of an issue there. Most of the people using that they're doing a lot of streaming are using OBS and then they're streaming it through StreamYard. But StreamYard I don't like that much. Let's see. Well, you have kids, you have grandkids, teach them. There's going to be other people who will watch this that aren't in the stream too. So I don't know what you mean by that, Rick, but I can sell all the stuff very easily on eBay, no problem. It's just will I get back what I paid for it? And silver hasn't moved enough yet. I don't know that I would make very much on this. So I'm probably going to be looking at like a 2 to 5% profit margin on this, not very much. Now I've been selling gold coins on eBay a lot. The 10th ounce ones, I picked up a lot of those at let's see, where they pick them up at. I had like the gold links and toros or bulls. And I think I picked up a lot of those at like 20 of them at $240, and I've been selling those at $400 or $380. So there's some profit in those. I've been selling like Queen's Beast completer coins for $1,000 over spot, which has been pretty good. And yeah, they're cool coins. You might want to keep them and stuff. But if you can sell a coin and get $1,000 over spot when gold's at 20 or $2,000, so you sell 2 of those, you take 2 gold coins and you turn it into 3. It's about growing the stack. It's not necessarily about having the coolest, selection of coins. Plus, the reason I kind of give you guys this idea here is the thought that I want to help my kids a little bit more with. It's where you start. It's how to get your foundation. And once your foundation's good, and by the way, my foundation's good. I'm happy with it. You can get this kind of stuff, okay? Because you've got a good foundation. And if you're going to go spend money on something like baseball cards that has no value to it, it's a piece of paper. At least this still has silver value to it. No, that is something. You could get stuff like this too. I mean, it just depends on how much you have to stack, but you want to make sure your gold and your silver base foundation is good there too. Now, if you can get good prices on these guys, I still pick them up. I wouldn't overpay for them. A lot of people overpay for those. Don't do that. All right. Now we got to figure out what we're going to do for a giveaway here for you guys real quick. I'm digging into my giveaway bag. Oh, I just found my fake stuff. Look at this guy. That thing's shiny. Don't know why that is so shiny. That is either like never been touched or that thing was cleaned like crazy. All right, let me see what I got. Now, here's the issue with this. I probably won't be able to mail this out until next Friday. So you guys are going to have to be patient and wait on this a little bit. What stuff we got in here? Don't know what that is. By the way, this is kind of interesting. This is a silver round, and it is 5 grams. And it's also a hardware wallet or a cold wallet that holds Bitcoin. So if you guys want to scan that, you can send me some Bitcoin. How's that? and it stays on there until you pull this off, and then you can use it. I don't think it's ever been loaded though, so I don't think it actually has 150,000 Satoshis on it. That's kind of an interesting thing people were doing. Okay, we'll keep that out. All right, how many people we got in here? We got 32 left. Okay, I probably ranted too long and people lost interest. But what I do want to do is we'll do a fun little giveaway for you guys. Okay, it's not going to be anything too crazy, so I don't get too carried away, but I'm going to give you an option here. All right. We will go ahead and do we're going to do a quick giveaway tonight because we're going to do more giveaways tomorrow. All right, so I've got 2 silver dimes here. We got a 61 and a 63. Okay, so we're going to do 2 silver dimes. Now, once the channel hits once we hit 12,000, we'll do we'll do one of these like fun coins over here. We'll do something like this as a fun giveaway. But I just wanted to check. I don't think we cut up to 12,000, but I did say I'd check that real quick. I don't know if we've added even a person at the moment. Okay, maybe we added a couple people. All right, we're not there though. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm gonna put this in the giveaway. Okay, it's gonna be hashtag dime. So all you have to do is put in the hashtag and a dime, and you guys will enter in it. We're gonna do 2 dimes. I'm gonna throw in my stacking surfer sticker there, and it'll be a fun little giveaway for you guys. I know you guys want a ton of silver. It gets hard to do that all the time though. And you should have been around my channel the first year. I think I gave away somewhere around 50 ounces of silver, something like that. So yep, put the hashtag dime in, and we're gonna pull this up. All right, there we go. We got 16. There's 34 watching. You guys hit that thumbs up. Where did we get to even on thumbs up on this video? Let's see. All right, we got to 64. That's not too bad. Okay, so we got 18. I'll give you guys just a minute longer. Real quick, I'm going to show you. You can only see it in the little window here, but these are 2 fake silver eagles. And this one, you could tell just by looking at it that it doesn't look right. And it feels a little bit off. And I drilled that thing, and it's copper. So it really is just copper with a little bit of silver on the outside of it. It did not fake out the Sigma, though. I don't believe so. But there's something to it just doesn't look right. This guy here, okay, this guy here we'll take a little closer look at. Okay, we got 18. I think we'll go for it. All right, let's draw this thing. All right, Chad. Congratulations. I have no idea how to say your last name. I don't believe that's your last name. That seems way too long. But maybe it is. But congratulations. So Chad, send me an email, stackingsurfer@gmail.com. And I think I might already have your stuff, but just in case, send me your info and we'll get this off. It might be next Friday by the time I can get it mailed. But congratulations. All right, so let's take that guy off real quick. Tomorrow we're going to be doing GAWS as we try to figure out how much silver's in a cigar box. All right, so I wanted to show you guys these real quick. Can you tell by looking at it which one's fake? Okay, neither one of them are proofs. And it might be hard for you to see from here, but can you tell which one's fake, the left or right one? There's a difference to them. And I think if you were here, you'd be able to see even more. Right one looks fake. Do you guys know what looks off about it? And I like these better. They don't have computer chips in them. I'm just kidding. Not Silver Eagles don't have computer chips in them, guys. But I do like this design of this eagle a little better. It's just kind of a cool crest. I don't like how the wing comes off here. And I don't know, it's just not as cool. But let's see, where did that other... Oh, I'm dropping silver everywhere. Liberty here. But that, even though it's not the full eagle, that's pretty sick looking. I think that's cool. Anyway, yep, this one on the right is fake. And I will tell you, looking at it, this has a luster. This has a shininess to it. This has a luster, and I think it's really, really hard to mimic the luster. It's like radial. It starts in the center and it kind of works its way out as you rotate the coin. The other thing you'll notice in this, if you were here with me, the cape just doesn't have the same detail. It's like half the detail. Everything's a little larger here on scale, where this is much more micro. So you can see that there. And when I think it was Chef Stacker gave me this one. When he handed it to me at first, I'm like, yeah, that's not real. It just didn't look right. But a lot of people, if you're looking at this by itself, not next to another Silver Eagle, you may not have any kind of idea. It's in a capsule. It looks good. So test everything you buy. Try to test it before you buy it. At the very least, test it when you get home. Buy from people that you trust and know, or test it like crazy. I mean, I bought a lot of dimes and quarters from people off of Facebook Marketplace, and it's okay. It's not bad. So send this off to Chad. So congratulations, Chad. And one of these days, I hope to have my channel so big we can do GAWS like this or something. That'd be killer. So the other thing you have to do with your fake coins is make sure you put them back into a bag that's labeled fake, so that no one mixes it in with your real stuff. Because I can tell you that at least the coin that's in the slab, or not the slab, but in the capsule, if this was mixed in with your other eagles, you may not catch it. It may sit in there. ASCs do not have computer chips, guys. That was something that got said on my channel last year and just caused so many problems. There's no way you can do it. It would melt everything and it would make the weight off. It wouldn't show up right on a Sigma. And there's no way for it to have any kind of a tracking chip. Yes, so if you're buying from LCS, test before you leave. Have them show you that it's real. Bring a Sigma Metal X machine, have a coin pinger, do all those different things. All right, guys, so until tomorrow, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, have a great night, and thank you for watching. Hopefully this helped a little bit. I had a few people this week tell me, hey, the stacking channel, let's talk about stacking. So these are some of my philosophies on stacking. They change over time. But for me, this is where I'm at the moment. If I were to kind of redo it, I would focus on starting here. It does not mean that you go and sell all of this stuff and take losses to try to buy more of this stuff. Okay, I wouldn't do that. But if you do have coins like this other one here, where I might be able to double my price, yeah, that's another consideration. You know, do I really care about it or not? Once you sell it, you're probably not going to get it back. So until next time, everybody, peace out. Thank you for coming and have a great evening. Bye bye.